welcome to highlights of the 1991 Brazilian Grand Prix, brought to you by Microprose and GP2Joey. Round 2 of the season sees Formula 1 visit the sweepingly fast and bumpy 4.8-mile Interlagos circuit on the outskirts of Sao Paulo. And after his arch-rival Alain Prost took the win last time out in America, Ayrton Senna will be hoping Ferrari will help him get his first win of the year in his hometown. Going into the race, Prost was confident his McLaren team could repeat their winning performance, whilst Nigel Mansell was confident his Williams team were gaining on the two front runners, and the pressure was certainly on Ferrari to ensure there was no repeat of their double retirements last time out for Senna and American teammate Michael Andretti, who lost a certain podium finish at the end of the race. As ever, Friday morning meant pre-qualifying, and from the start there was drama as the Minardi of Gianni Morbidelli looked strong, but teammate Pierluigi Martini suffered technical issues that prevented him setting a lap in the 30-minute session, so the Italian team were out for the second consecutive race. Meantime, Damon Hill and Mark Blundell helped Brabham get through, along with Dallara and F1 rookies Jordan, who finally delivered on their strong pre-season testing form and made the cut, whilst the others went home early. Friday qualifying was intense, with Andretti surprisingly claiming provisional pole, and Saturday saw Joey Davis continue to struggle in the McLaren Honda, with the Briton spinning a few times as he tried to find a decent balance. Senna meantime pushed as hard as he could, but ultimately was unable to go any faster than he had the previous day, despite having hopes and prayers of Brazilians with him. It ultimately meant that in only his second Formula 1 start, Andretti's best efforts remained unchallenged from Friday, and he claimed his maiden pole position, and by some margin over his Ferrari teammate, whilst the Brabham of Blundell and Aguri Suzuki in the LaRousse were unable to make the cut for the race. Afterwards, an elated Andretti thanked the team for their efforts and proclaimed his own surprise at having beaten Senna, who was just angry with his own performance yet praised his teammate for getting the pole. So again, it's an all-Ferrari lockout on the front row with Prost and Mansell on row 2. Row 3 is Alesi and Herbert. Row 4 is Warwick and Brundle. Row 5 is Davis and Piquet. Row 6 is Berger and Patrese. Row 7 is Nakajima and Boutsen. Row 8 is Comas and Modena. Row 9 is Donnelly and Hakkinen. Row 10 is Gugelmin and Capelli. Row 11 is Bernard and Pirro. Row 12 is JJ Leto and Bertrand Gachot. Row 13 is Andrea De Cesaris and Damon Hill. The revs are up and the red lights are on, and the Brazilian Grand Prix is go! Andretti makes a very poor start away from pole position because Ayrton Senna has taken the lead in front of his adoring home crowd, and Alain Prost, his arch rival, is up into second place in the McLaren. Andretti's in third, it's Herbert in fourth, Mansell is fifth, Davis is up to sixth, Davis is now into fifth place as they thunder through the second turn. Mansell drops to sixth, Alesi is seventh, Brundle is eighth, Derek Warwick is ninth, Gerhard Berger in the Joest is 10th. As they run down the long straight towards turn 4, Senna just about keeping ahead of Alain Prost, but Prost has got the inside line, and Andretti wants to take a look as well. He gets the slipstream from the Brazilian, but Prost takes the lead, and the crowds boo in silence. They are absolutely distraught to see Ayrton Senna lose the lead, but Senna's in second place with Andretti third. Joey Davis is up into fourth place in the second McLaren. A phenomenal start from the Briton, who's obviously running a very low downforce setup today. He's struggled all weekend to find a comfortable setup balance for his car, and he's not been able to do it, and he proclaimed that he was going to be running a Monza-style setup, going very much against the grain of everybody else, and that's going to give him very low grip at low speed, and you can hear him flipping the throttle there as Prost's lead is now out to 0.3 seconds with Andretti half a second behind Senna. Davis still in fourth place, feathering the throttle away again with Johnny Herbert looking to try and get past the McLaren in the footwork.
Phenomenal start from Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost as Michael Andretti looks like he's going to try and take the lead away, the second place away from Ayrton Senna as they head into the long right-hander, and he can't do it. Senna just cuts straight across the front of him, and surely that's going to give Joey Davis the opportunity to close the gap. And look at that, he really has closed the gap.
Davis has really got a good run on Andretti now as Andretti looks to go on the outside of Senna, and Senna blocks him. Senna blocks him and Davis slings it up the inside of the second Ferrari. He locks a wheel. Is he going to be able to get the car stopped? He does. But Andretti just holds it out around the outside. Fantastic repassing from the American. Fantastic as Alain Prost. He's now over a second in front with Senna behind. And Andretti's now lost even more time with Davis in 4th place. And Johnny Herbert's only 0.3 of a second behind Davis. And I think that Johnny Herbert's going to be looking to see if he can get past the McLaren. Herbert has very much outperformed his teammate Martin Brundle, and there he goes, Herbert. He's through and up into 4th place. Davis is already back down to 5th with Mansell and Lacey in the 2 Williams absolutely all over his gearbox. And Derek Warwick wants to get a bit of the action. And so does Satoru Nakajima in the Tyrrell Honda. Fantastic start, but out front, Alain Prost, he's coming up to the final few couple of corners with this very long opening lap. It's over 2 minutes long, but Johnny Herbert has totally outperformed Martin Brundle in the winter testing, and he did in Watkins Glen as well until he had a bit of an accident on at the start of the race. But you can see that Andretti is all over the gearbox of his teammate Ayrton Senna. Senna's got Andretti right up behind him, and I think that Andretti is going to make the move unseen by the TV cameras. Senna's bobbing about. He's trying to keep Andretti behind him, but he can't do it. Andretti's got ahead of Senna, so it's Prost now in the lead. Ahead of Andretti and Senna with Herbert in 4th, and Davis has got Mansell all over his gearbox as well. But Senna retakes 2nd place away from Andretti. Fantastic pass from the Brazilian, and the crowd's go wild. Senna is now 2 seconds behind him, but Lacey's up into 6th place with Mansell 7th. Brundle is still struggling away in 8th. It's PK in 9th with Derek Warwick 10th. And Andretti's pushing, and he's locked a wheel. And Andretti's running wide. Is he over the grass? He's onto the grass, and Andretti. My God, that's a mediocre spin in the number 2 Ferrari, and has he stalled it? Has Andretti stalled it out of 3rd place? He's got to let all these cars come past him, and he's just cascading down the order as Davis is struggling. Davis has now dropped down into 10th place. Brundle, PK, Warwick and Nakajima, they've all got ahead of him. But his teammate Alain Prost serenely into the lead now on lap 4. Prost will very much be hoping that he's pulling up. Prost is slowing. Alain Prost is slowing, and you can listen to the crowds roar because they know that means that their beloved hero, Ayrton Senna, has taken the lead. His arch rival Prost is out, and that sees Johnny Herbert up into 2nd place. Mansell's going to take 3rd. With Lacey 4th and Brundle 5th, as we watch Joey Davis, who's going to come screaming into the first double left-hander, and Davis has lost the back end of the McLaren, and he's into the fence, and he's out of the race. Davis has lost all the grip, and he's out of the Grand Prix. A phenomenal development. That's going to mean Gerhard Berger up into 10th place. And who's this? It's Capelli and Donnelly battling over position with a fantastic move from the Leighton House driver. And Andretti, he's already dropped back down to the end of the field, and he's already starting to climb his way back through now. But Michael Andretti is going to be feeling very embarrassed about that low-level spin that spun him out of 3rd place as Senna continues to lead ahead of Johnny Herbert.
There's JJ Leto out. JJ Leto in the BMS Delara, and there's a car on fire there. I think that's Ivan Capelli with one of the Jordans right behind him. Capelli's Leighton House, Ilmore. Looks like he's expired that engine, and he's going to be out of the Grand Prix from 20th position. And I think that's Andrea De Cesaris just passing the Italian. One Italian passes the other, and there's Derek Warwick pushing. I think that's Gasho. That's Gasho in the Jordan. Derek Warwick very much trying to get past him as he's already made his pit stop for new tyres, and Gasho hasn't stopped yet in the Jordan. A phenomenal sight to see. But there's Michael Andretti, and he's just finally managed to get ahead of Thierry Boutsen. And Andretti's now up into 8th place.
And Johnny Herbert's in 2nd, and he's going to be pushing like crazy to see if he can close the 3.5 second gap to Ayrton Senna, with Nigel Mansell in 3rd place, Lacey 4th, and PK in 5th place with Martin Brundle, Herbert's teammate, in 6th place as we ride on board with Senna. And Herbert's into the pits. Johnny Herbert's going to make his first of 2 planned tyre stops today. A lot of drivers are going to be opting for 2 stops because this circuit is quite robust, and it really does chew up the rubber on these tyres as Herbert slips down the order. He's into 6th position now, but Mansell, he's in 2nd place with Lacey 3rd, and PK in 4th, and there's Jean Lacey. What a sight to see that is. The man who we thought was going to Ferrari at the end of 1990 got snubbed by the team who elected to try to sign Michael Andretti. So Lacey signed for Frank Williams, who was very keen to get young Frenchman's signature on a piece of paper, with Nigel Mansell pushing as Gachot comes in for the first of the Jordan pit stops. From 15th place, Mansell is pushing like crazy. The gap out to Senna now is 6 seconds. And Lacey 14 seconds back in third, with Piquet fourth, Brundle fifth. And there's Alesi. Is Alesi slowing? I'm not sure if Alesi's slowing, but the crowds are cheering as Ayrton Senna's coming into the pits for Ferrari. Senna's into the pits, and so is Mansell. They're both in the race leaders, and that's going to mean that for the first time in his career, Jean Alesi for Williams is going to be leading the Brazilian Grand Prix. Mansell comes into his stops. But where's Brundle and Piquet? There's Martin Brundle. Brundle's up into second place. Senna's in third, having made his pit stop, with Herbert fourth, Mansell fifth, Piquet is sixth, Berger in the Joes is seventh. And look at this! It's the two Jordans battling. It's De Cesaris ahead of Bertrand Gachot over 18th and 19th place. It's a phenomenal sight to see Eddie Jordan's team finally qualified. They had so much pre-season testing for that it was very much a bit of a surprise that they didn't actually qualify for the first race in America, as Alesi comes in and Martin Brundle takes over the race lead on lap 18. Phenomenal driving from the Englishman, but he's been outperformed by Herbert, who's up into the third place, but he's behind Ayrton Senna, but he's closed the gap to Senna. The gap is only 3 seconds, with Mansell in fourth, Alesi fifth, as Gachot looks to make a move on De Cesaris around the inside, and he can't do it. De Cesaris just slams the door. Phenomenal driving from these two. Absolutely phenomenal.
Andretti looking to pass one of the Tyrrells there. Is that Nakajima? I think that's Stefano Modena. They're battling over 10th place, I believe. There's Derek Warwick comes into the pits. Good old Del Boy. He's into the pit lane in the Benetton. It's a very nice sight to see Derek Warwick in a decent car for once, as we watch Ayrton Senna cross the line for the 19th time, with Andretti very much looking to pass. Is that Eric Comas in the Ligier? That's Comas, and Andretti just cannot find a way past that Ligier. Ligier have been quite impressive this year, as Martin Brundle comes in for his stop, and he's going to drop out of third place, with Alesi taking it up in fourth, with Herbert in third, Mansell second, with Ayrton Senna still the race leader, 7.1 seconds in front.
And we're watching Johnny Herbert. Herbert's in third place, battling profusely with Jean Alesi's Williams. But he's lapping one of the Delaras. That's Emanuele Pirro, and Alesi's going to have to try and get past the BMS Delara as quickly as he possibly can to not lose touch with Herbert. As we watch Senna coming round over the start-finish straight, and it looks as though Alesi's got ahead of Johnny Herbert, as Herbert had some sort of a problem. We've missed it off the TV screens, and Piquet's in fifth place, Senna's Brazilian countryman, with Michael Andretti up into sixth. What a sterling drive from the American after his very early spin. Jean Alesi's in third, Mansell is 7 seconds behind Senna, and very much going to be trying to pressure the Brazilian into making some kind of a mistake, but I think that's going to be very unlikely, because Senna is in his home race. He's in front of 200,000 screaming Brazilians, and that's a Tyrrell. And that's Stefano Modena out of the race. Modena's Honda engine has expired, as Mansell, Herbert and Piquet all come in for their second stops. And Thierry Boutsen's into the pits from 11th place as Senna continues round. He's unchallenged. Andretti, his Ferrari teammate, is in 6th place, and you can see Nigel Mansell is absolutely pushing the Williams as fast as he dare, with his teammate Jean Alesi in 3rd place. He's already 11 seconds ahead of Johnny Herbert. Piquet's in 5th place, but Nakajima impressing in 9th place for the Tyrrell, with Berger and Patrese in the two Joes. So Senna sets the fastest lap so far of 1 minute 58.283. That is a sensational lap time. And as I speak of Patrese, he pulls over, and Patrese is out. The Joes has expired. I think that's another problem for the Porsche engine, and looks as though the Italian, he's pulled over and he's out as Senna comes past. Having probably just about to lap the Italian, Senna comes past as Andretti goes fastest by 0.2 of a second. He's done a 1 minute 58.045. Michael Andretti has taken the fastest lap, and Johnny Herbert's got a problem. Herbert, he's got a problem in 4th. He's dropped to 5th place. He run over the curbs, and Herbert has got a problem. I think he's lost all gears or transmission. And Johnny Herbert, he is out of the Grand Prix. What terrible luck from the man from Romford in London. He's out of the Grand Prix. And you can hear the crowds chanting as Ayrton Senna rounds the final few corners. There's 200,000 streaming Brazilians all cheering on the local boy in the Ferrari. He won this race last year, where it was Interlagos has returned to the calendar, having replaced the Rio de Janeiro circuit. And yet again, Senna is undefeated in Sao Paulo. He accelerates out of the final turns, up the hill towards the start-finish line. And Ayrton Senna's year is finally underway after his retirement from the American Grand Prix. Senna comes across the pit lane, the checkered flag is waving, and Ayrton Senna wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. Fantastic race as Nigel Mansell comes across to take yet another podium for Williams. He's second in the Williams. Fantastic drive from the Isle of Man resident, with Jean Alesi taking third. What an afternoon for the Williams team, and a disaster for McLaren with both Prost and Davis retiring. But the crowds are cheering this man. Ayrton Senna in the Ferrari has won the Grand Prix. So it was an historic first win of the season for Senna, and it went some way to extinguish the embarrassment Ferrari felt after their disaster in the States 2 weeks ago, with Mansell taking a fine second, Alesi third, the impressive Boutsen fourth for Ligier ahead of Piquet and Andretti, who recovered well to take sixth after his early spin. As over 200,000 Brazilians crowded underneath the podium, Senna sprayed the champagne and thanked his supporters and the Ferrari team for giving him an incredible car. Mansell, meantime, was elated to have bagged another 6 points, and his Williams teammate Alesi was happy to have taken the final step on the podium after his self-inflicted crash at the opening race in Watkins Glen. Mansell now leads the standings ahead of Senna and Prost, who left Brazil frustrated after his early retirement, whilst Andretti claimed his first point for sixth. Williams are now top in the constructors' standings ahead of McLaren and Ferrari, with Tyrrell, Benetton and the impressive Ligier team battling over fourth place. With one win apiece for Prost and Senna, we gear up for the first leg of the European races at Imola, where Ferrari will be hoping to get another victory in front of the adoring Tifosi. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for round 3 of the 1991 Formula 1 World Championship in San Marino.